morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with PoE Texas. Today's host is Tyler Andrews, and he is their CEO and will be presenting with us today. If anyone has any questions, please submit them in the question box so that Tyler can answer them at the end of today's presentation. Tyler, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm finished for now. Please go ahead and take it on over.
Fantastic. Thank you, Julie, and thank you all for joining us today. I am very excited to be able to present Power over Ethernet and PoE Texas to y'all today. I hope I can deliver some new, and most importantly, I'm hoping I can provide some interesting information about PoE. So let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Hey y'all, as Julie said, I am Tyler Andrews with PoE Texas, and I'll start with a quick introduction to me and my credentials and why you should invest the next 20 minutes or so in this training. So why don't we start with, I'm going to be pushing some buttons here, so thank you for your patience as I do that. I'm going to start by introducing myself as the CEO. I've been the CEO of PoE Texas for the last 3 years, but that's kind of jumping to the end of the story. So imagine, if you will, me as a young-faced engineer graduating from the University of Texas at Austin. In that 1 year, I got married, I bought my first home, I got a career with ExxonMobil, and I moved to South Korea. And that's me there, handsome young me, living in South Korea. I was part of ExxonMobil's mega project division, building multi-billion-dollar facilities all over the world. So after 2 years in Korea and another 2 years in Canada at what was then financially the largest company in the world, I dropped out. Actually, I left intentionally to join a tiny little company that just had 7 people working here in Austin from their home. We were doing meetings in our underpants. So yes, I'm wearing pants today, by the way, so don't worry about it. But we used to do these go-to meetings in our underpants, building indoor skydiving wind tunnels. So I started as a project manager for iFly, which was the company that I was working for. 8 years, 56 operating facilities worldwide, and over 1,000 employees later, so we had grown pretty seriously in those 8 years. I retired as the vice president for construction to pursue my own venture, which was PoE Texas. I took over a small startup firm doing a very strange and kind of interesting technology. So let's talk about PoE Texas. So about PoE Texas, a business, it's been around since 2011, but a good portion of that time, it was really kind of the second love of the previous owner. However, with my experience as a project manager and developer, I could clearly see the potential of combined power and data Power over Ethernet offers. So when I took over in 2016, we started building on the PoE technology and the powerful reputation for service that the company had to build a suite of products that focused on Power over Ethernet for intelligent buildings and lighting and automation systems. So it was a very exciting time, and it's very cool. So I'm going to switch over here, make sure I'm keeping on my script so that y'all don't get bored and don't get interested, or sorry, don't stay in, because we're focused on PoE lighting and automation here. Let me pull that up. Sorry, guys. My teleprompter actually just died on me. So I had it all built out on my teleprompter, but that's the fun of doing live trainings. So, I like to tell people, think of us as your PoE experts. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. How to get the most out of Power Ethernet for whatever type of business you're doing today. So I'll start, and I'll confess, I'll start by saying, I love Power over Ethernet. Now, yeah, I know. It's what I do for a living. But really, how cool is it that you can take an Ethernet cable, just like this one here. I even brought one out for an example. You could take an Ethernet cable that you have in the wall and power cameras, iPads, even TVs. We have full 43-inch displays all over an Ethernet cable. And so I see PoE as potential. Yep, I am that kind of guy, yep. I couldn't resist the nerd joke. Yes, potential is a nerd joke, and just be forewarned, they're coming. They're just gonna keep coming. Nerd jokes will be abundant in my presentation today. So, in all seriousness, let me do this, shrink this up so that I can still make sure I'm presenting you the right content y'all wanna see. In all seriousness, though, Power over Ethernet can save you 30% on any given project where you would otherwise have to call out a licensed electrician they have to come out and pull a permit, and you get the licensed electrician to pull conduit and put everything in just to put an outlet somewhere where you want to hang a camera, digital signage, or even a light. The key to that savings is that PoE runs on low voltage power, meaning it's less than 56 volts. And so you could do the work safely with a low voltage installer. You don't need the licensed electrician. You don't need conduit, unless you're in the city of Chicago, then I can help you guys. But you don't need a licensed electrician. You don't need conduit. You don't need a lot of extra infrastructure. This is something you can install. This is something that an IT professional, an AV professional can install very easily. So the question that always comes up then is, everybody asks, well, if PoE is so cool, why don't we do it all the time? Why don't we see Power over Ethernet everywhere? Well, I blame it sometimes on it sounding too technical, because frankly, PoE has to do with things like computers and switches talking to each other, and that drives people crazy. For this group today, though, I'm guessing the pros attending this training are all familiar and comfortable with this kind of technology, but its full potential is not understood because most likely you haven't seen the new advances in the technology that enable new and, most importantly, profitable opportunities. Well, that ends today. We're going to fix this. We help a lot of people find the right PoE solution, and believe me when I say it's definitely something you should get into. To get us all on the same page, I'm going to start with some basic terms and principles so we're all speaking the same language. And then we'll blow your minds with some of the new tech you may not have seen before. So I'm going to make some cool new tech in the presentation. So I'll start with Power over Ethernet, or PoE. And I'll discuss it in an easily understandable way, even if you've never worked with a network before. So what does Power over Ethernet, or PoE, they're both the same thing, what does it really do? PoE, well, here comes another engineer joke, just be ready. Working from the ground up. Yes, another engineer joke. PoE simply means putting electricity or power onto an Ethernet cable along with the data signal. So you get the power and the data running on the same cable. You can use that electricity to power all kinds of things you're probably familiar with, like cameras, IP phones, Wi-Fi access points, and some things you may not be as familiar with. iPads, lights, televisions, media players, Raspberry Pis. You know, I'll warn you guys, once you start getting into what you can do with PoE, you start going deep, like X-Files deep. You're going to change your name to Mulder or Scully. It gets serious. Oh, and let me do some defining too. These are some important words you need to know about how to pronounce the terms for PoE. So IEEE, and yes, that's exactly how you pronounce it, IEEE. So when you're talking to your friends, if you say IEEE, it doesn't sound as cool. Go with IEEE. What's the deal with IEEE? So IEEE is a set of standards, and it's IEEE 802.3. It's a set of standards that define PoE, and it can help understand a lot of things. It's like a common language. But simply put, you have one very smart guy out there who's making an IP phone, and you have another smart guy like me, thank you very much, making devices that can power those IP phones and IP cameras over a network cable. And to make sure we work together well and we're not arguing and we're not bickering about things, we called our friends over at the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, so IEEE, and asked them to help us create a standard way of doing things. They agreed, and they added us to the 802nd section, part 3 of their standard. And you totally should read it. However, just warning, data and power get together by the end. So now you know how the story goes. In all seriousness, the standard is how engineers agree on how PoE will work. So we can both make devices that talk the same PoE. Now, as time passed, we kept coming up with better and better ideas. And if you're anything like me, what's better than the idea of more power? Just give me more power. So over the years, the PoE standards have expanded and gotten bigger. And most of the changes has been around adding more power. So I'm going to show you the range of standards and the kinds of products you can find in those standards using our product list. So you could just sit back, relax. If you want, go grab a root beer. It's middle of the day. You guys are probably at work. If you're at home, probably go grab a beer and just bask in the glory of it all. Oh, by the way, I've tried to really take some of these videos and make them crafted toward the value proposition for you, meaning what can you do with PoE? Since frankly, I've never met anybody who went into their boss's office and said, hey boss, I got this great idea. I think we should install PoE in all of our network switches and hardware, and we're gonna do PoE everywhere. I have no idea what we're gonna do with it, but it's totally cool. We're just gonna do it. Never happens. So what people end up doing is they end up finding out the value proposition for what they can use PoE for, and then they add PoE. So let's check out what are the different things, different standards mean for PoE.
Here we have the sawn-off camera and the 2 PoE components we use to power it. On the back of the camera is a LAN port, a DC connection, and a slot labeled TF. This stands for a trans flash slot or micro SD. If we flip the camera over, we'll see the power requirements. As you can see, the input power needed for the sawn-off camera is 5 volts, 1 amp. To convert the PoE power, I'll be using our AF 5 volt 10 watt splitter. This splitter is compatible with 802.3 AF PoE to step it down to 5 volts 10 watts. It can also pass through up to gigabit data speeds. Output power and data are split into these two connections. Power out is on the 1.35 millimeter DC barrel, and output data is on the male RJ45. Now let's connect it to the camera. Remember that the size of the DC barrel on the splitter is 1.35 millimeter. This is pretty standard for 5-volt devices. After a few seconds of being connected, 2 power LED lights appear on the camera.
Power over Ethernet means you send power and data to a device, like a VoIP phone, using one Ethernet cable. You simply plug the Ethernet cable into your phone, and you're done. An injector is a very simple device that takes your data stream on the Ethernet cable and adds power for a device like a phone or Wi-Fi access point. Pick which AC outlet fits your application and is close enough to your Ethernet line. Plug the injector into the outlet. Plug the Ethernet cable from your data source, like a switch or router, into the LAN port. Plug the Ethernet cable from your PoE device into the PoE port and watch it power on. Are you ready to power one of these with these? Stick around and we'll show you how to use one of these. Whether you're doing an updated conference room, a new point of sale kiosk, or a customer interface point, AV equipment is an investment, and it's a great investment to make, especially if you can maximize your investment. That's where tablet computers come in. Yes, there are lots of single-use, purpose-built AV equipment out there that do all the things that you need it to do. The problem is, they're a lot like this waffle maker. This waffle maker is wonderful. It makes crispy, buttery, really good waffles. You know, you smother them in maple syrup and I gotta go get some waffles. I'll be back. Oh, those were good. All right. Sorry about that. Where was I? Single-use devices. The problem with single-use devices is that there's only one thing you can use them for, that one thing. So this year, maybe you want waffles, but next year, maybe you want churros, you know, with the cinnamony, sugary flavor. Geez, I got to stop using food metaphors. I want some churros. No. I'm staying on task. So here's the real deal. The reason why you pick tablet computers as AV devices are, number one, they're available. You can buy them in all kinds of places. You don't have to set up contracts or talk to specialty vendors or distributors or resellers. You can buy them when and where you need them. Two, they're cost effective. Even with the mounting hardware, to put them where you need them, the tablet and the mounting hardware is usually more cost effective than a single purpose built device anyway. Three, they come with plenty of accessories. All these tablet devices already have accelerometers, high-end cameras, microphones, speakers. They come with a lot of accessories that you don't have to pay for and give you a lot of flexibility down the road. Four, they're an open platform. With the App Store and the Google Play Store, you can find thousands of apps to do whatever you want to do with it today and in the future. And That's a key feature about the tablets, is you can use them today to do a point-of-sale kiosk. 6 months, a year from now, you need to do a customer interface point. You can simply take your tablet, install a new software, and redeploy it. And speaking of installation, they're easy to install. There are a variety of manufacturers of tablet mounts, and this is my favorite part, they can be PoE powered.
You have also likely heard about the new Universal Serial Bus standard called USB Type-C. It's a new connector with even faster data rates than ever before and rapid charging power delivery. New companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Google have all started using USB Type-C for their tablets and phones. It's the new universal standard we can all agree on. Unfortunately, these two amazing technologies seem incompatible. That is, until today. PoE Texas has used the most modern chips and design methods to create this innovative interface between Power over Ethernet and USB Type-C. Now you can charge your iPad Pro or Surface Go or Samsung Tab while using hardwired Ethernet all on one cable. Imagine your point of sale or check-in kiosk, your conference room scheduler or controller, or even your hotel media guide running on one single network cable to your favorite tablet computer. Well, imagine no longer. The future is here, and the future is USB-C and PoE. So hurry out today to your local online retailer to get your PoE to USB-C adapter today.
Maria here with PoE Texas. So I'm live here today at the Texas Association of Broadcasters trade show.
So what we're doing today, we're showing off our broadcast level line of cameras. We did bring a few of the entry-level USB cameras, but primarily our new 4K 70 camera and then a couple of our new IP cameras. What I'm seeing that's really cool is all the new IP technology, which goes hand in hand with not only PoE Texas, but all of the switch companies, all of the router companies. Those companies are all doing really incredible things with camera signal flow, and that's mostly what I'm looking around and seeing the most of, and it seems to be the topic on everyone's mind.
What's cool about the PoE Texas conference room is we've integrated the lighting, we've integrated the switching, we've integrated the controls through a touchscreen, and we've integrated the blinds so that you can get quick automated scene changes for the lighting in your space. This is like me walking in and turning on the lights. You can see the overhead lights have come on. The blinds are automatically going up, and the blinds going up mean that you get the natural light coming into the space. We can have a light harvesting to then adjust the light for the outside light. And you get two different types of downlight to make the scene better. Now, to give an idea of what the capabilities are for the scene, I'm going to go ahead and hit a demo button on our controller that's going to show the wide range of scenes and settings that you can see when you do the PoE conference room. And what you're going to do is you're going to start seeing some lights coming up brighter. You're going to see some lights coming down. You're going to see the blinds coming down. I'm changing the color temperature to make that space feel warmer and more inviting. And then we're going to bring everything down and back up again and reset the conference room to a basic lighting condition. So this is what the PoE automation can provide. And here's the cool part. We at PoE Texas, we do it all. We can provide the lights, we can provide the hardware, we can provide the design.
Do you need the power and versatility of an enterprise-grade NUC? You don't have an outlet where you need one? Stick around while we show you how to get power and gigabit data to your NUC with one Ethernet cable. You have just one network cable, no way to add more, but you need to add more devices to your network. Or maybe you're just ready to cut your cabling runs by 75% and put the savings back in your pocket. Then join me as I show you this. I'm going to show you how the new Power over Ethernet 4-port device, the GBT4IW, will save you when you need to add more network ports, but you can't add any more cables. Or will simply cut your cabling runs by up to 75%. How do we do that? We've taken a Power over Ethernet switch, shrunk it down, and hardened it to fit into a standard single gang wall box. And here's the best part. we made it PoE powered. It doesn't require complicated programming or configuring. You simply plug it in, mount it, start using it. The GBT4IW works with any type of PoE, from traditional 802.3 AF PoE and PoE Plus, all the way up to the new high-powered PoE. The type of PoE you have will determine what power budget you have available on your GBT4IW. To get the most out of your GBT4IW, you can take advantage of the new IEEE 802.3 BT Type 4 PoE to get up to 60 watts of PoE power on this device. There you go. As you all can see from the videos, I tried to pull together segments of different videos to give you a short sample of the different types of products you could do on PoE. Now, if you'd like to watch more, you can find all the videos on our YouTube and Facebook channels about PoE. So if you'd like, go ahead, visit our channels, check them out. They are there for you to view and enjoy, with all my bad jokes, bad engineer jokes included. So right now, though, in my last few minutes, let's talk about how you get the right type of PoE. So I'm going to pull this up here. Let's talk about picking the right type of power sourcing equipment, a PSE, and getting it to fit your application. So during the video montage, the titles showed the power level of each of the standards, 12, 25, and 62 to 72, or 60 to 72 watts. That's the power you can expect with the PoE standard your device has. Well, and that, my friends, is a key thing you need to know. When it's all said and done, you need to make sure you pick a power device, like a camera or media controller, that matches the standard of the PoE sourcing equipment, the PSE. You notice how I sneaked or snooked some more vocabulary in there for you? But how do you do that? Let me break it down for you really simply. Let's say you're adding any device to your network. First, go find the data sheet. Now, don't panic. Let me pull this up. Go find the data sheet. Don't panic. Every engineer makes a data sheet because it's their form of bragging. It's like they're street racers with their tricked out muscle cars. They want you to know what they've got under the hood. So typically, you can find the PoE standard in the electrical section on the in the data sheet or on the device, and it will say something like IEEE 802.3 AF, or we'll just simply say PoE, and that will tell you what kind of PoE your new toy has. Second, select the type of PSE. You turn this title back on. Select the type of PSE. That is either your PoE switch or midspan that matches the standard on your device. So if your device says PoE, you can pick a PoE switch. But if your device says PoE Plus, you need a PoE Plus switch. If it says PoE Plus Plus or 4-pair PoE or Ultra PoE, then you need the 802.3 BT PoE. Now, what's a switch and what's a midspan, you may ask? Well, they look a lot alike, but don't be fooled. They're very different animals with very different purposes. So let me double check how I'm doing on time. Yeah, I got a little bit of time. So the majority of time, you'll plan to buy a switch. And that's probably what you're most familiar with. It's one box. You plug in the network cable or the fiber port, uplink port, to give it data, and then you plug it into the wall, and all the ports have power and data. All the down ports have power and data coming out of them. Now, midspan is a slightly different animal in that it simply adds PoE to the network cable. It doesn't handle data. So why do I bring up a midspan? It just so happens we know midspans, And there are two situations in which a mid-span makes a lot of sense. So let's take a quick look at those two cases. So why build a multi-port injector when you can buy a PoE switch that can do the same thing? I'm glad you asked. We've all been there. You have a network set up and running. You've been happy with it for years, but now you need to either add PoE or you need to upgrade from PoE to something more powerful like PoE++ with 60 watts of power. So you get online or call up your favorite IT guy to let you know you're ready for an upgrade. Wham! You're neck deep in techno jargon, my friend. At best, you realize you have no idea what these guys are talking about. VLANs, QoS, tunneling, OAS layers, MAC addresses, tachyon streams. None of us know what they're talking about. But we all nod and mumble sagely the most techie words we know, like inertial dampener. Or worse, the guy who set up your network 2 years ago has immigrated to the Alpha Centauri system and cannot even take your phone call. So the next guy you call in just shakes his head at you and looks at your antiquated system and asks if you've been using an Etch-a-Sketch for your computer for the last 2 years. Either way, you're in for a complete network overhaul. And geez, new equipment is expensive for this one little project. Guess it's time to pay for an upgrade. But the price of the equipment is the least of your worries. Setting it all up and getting it working is your real enemy. Either you're on the hook to spend hours on YouTube watching tutorials on programming these complicated network switches and hoping you just haven't left yourself exposed to hackers, or you're paying a guy to come set it up for you. Then you're paying for him to come back and fix it for you. And then you're paying for him to come back another time to fix more problems. What you thought would take half a day has turned into a month-long episode of Dallas. It's a drama. Why put yourself through all that? That's where a mid-span injector comes in. You can keep the hardware you have and get the additional PoE you need. You simply upgrade your PoE without having to change out the rest of your network hardware. Or you're looking to add more network capacity with new high-powered PoE. You're planning to just add a PoE switch to your network. Seems right. I mean, we just talked about that. So you start looking for the right switch that has all the features you need for networking and the high-powered PoE. Have you seen the price you're going to pay? You've hit the switch dilemma. You can find the switch you want, but it doesn't have the PoE you need. Or you can find the PoE you need, but it comes with a switch that's so complex and feature heavy, it's like buying a semi-tractor trailer to commute to work. And guess what? It comes with that same price scale. Don't do it. Break apart the decision of what switch and what PoE you need with a mid-span. There you go. Why you do a switch, why you do a mid-span. So finally, the type of, once you know which type of a switch or mid-span, that a PoE, PoE+, PoE++, once you know which one that you need, then make sure you have enough, you need to make sure you have enough ports to have the power budget for all the PoE devices on your switch or device. It's important to note that most switches and even some mid-spans don't have enough total power to give you full PoE power on all the ports at the same time. Why, you may ask? It comes down to cost and how much you'll really use the power on each port. So your Toyota Corolla technically can go 120 miles per hour, but you really use it to get to work and back. If you really wanted to go 120 miles an hour on a regular basis, you upgrade to a Porsche or a Corvette or something truly awesome with insanity mode. So you need to figure out how much total power you need based on how many devices you'll power and how much power they draw. Now there's a catch. This part takes math. I know you swore you'd never touch a calculator again once you got out of school. Believe me, it's not that bad. You can do the math yourself, or you can use our PoE calculator to do the math for you. We offer it free online through our website, or you can find the PoE calculator app in the App Store or Google Play. So voila, that's what you need to know. Now you know more than 90% of the people in the world about Power over Ethernet. With this simple set of activities, you'll shock yourself, please only figuratively, with what you can accomplish and how easily you'll be able to do it. So put that 30% back into a rocking new set of drums, or you can put it in your kids' college fund, whatever you think is most important. And the key here is whether you decide to tackle a PoE project yourself, hire out to another installer, you now have the knowledge you need to know to accomplish a PoE Texas project. So with that, I'm going to wrap. I'm going to wrap by telling you, if you forget everything I've just told you for the last 30 minutes, that's totally cool. You can find everything I just told you at the Learning Center at www.poetexas.com. We have tutorials, we have videos, we have all that content there. You can find it there. And I will close with the immortal words of PoE, or sorry, some immortal words about PoE, very motivational. PoE is stuff. And as we know, with the great Stan Lee, with great power comes great responsibility. Use the PoE responsibly. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Julie. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Tyler, for that wonderful presentation. We enjoyed it very much. Let's go ahead and get started with some questions. First one here for you. Can you tell us where PoE Texas items are manufactured?
Yes, like Apple, like Microsoft, like Cisco, and everybody else, we manufacture our products in Shenzhen, China. So we design them, we produce them, we source them here in the US, but they are manufactured in China.
Thank you very much for that. Excellent. Next question here for you. Regarding warranties, can you tell us about those? Can you tell us about your warranty policy on your devices?
Sure, great question. We have a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. If you don't like the product for any reason within the first 30 days, simply return it, get a refund, no questions asked. We do offer a 1-year manufacturer's warranty that is standard on all of our products. But if you register your product on our website, you get an extended 3-year warranty. And then, but the reality is we almost always honor our products. We stand by the quality of our products. And even if you came back 3.5 years from now and said, hey, Tyler, this is the problem, we stand by our products. So the written warranties are 30-day money back, 1 year, register the product, get 3 years, and then we stand by all of our products.
Excellent. Thank you, Tyler. That covers just about everything on that. Okay, next question here for you. Does PoE Texas offer training, and perhaps you mentioned this on your website, regarding the differences between PoE powered switches?
Yes. So we do offer trainings. We have our basics of PoE course that we show, or we have a blog on there. More than training though, this is something that we're really well known for is our one-on-one service. So if you ever have questions, we have a top-notch support team that can answer your questions. They will pick up the phone, they will answer your emails. Our service level agreement is response within 2 hours, I think, but if we're not tracking to where you don't have a response or you've spoken to somebody within an hour, we're not doing our jobs. So if you ever have a question, you could certainly call us. And yes, you'll find more information about the different PoE standards, what they mean, where they service, and about our PoE switch on our website. We do a lot of videos. We do a lot of tutorials. We try and make it very straightforward As you check out our technical information and our content, we try and use only normal speech. You're not going to find a lot of super complex, vague, techie jargon. We try and just lay it out there the way it really is and distill the critical information so it's clear for people who may not be super deep into PoE.
Excellent. Thank you, Tyler. That kind of flows right into my next question of reaching PoE Texas for any customer service support or technical support. Which is the best way to reach out to you, whether it's us here at Microcom or an end user?
Great question. Whether you're at Microcom or end user, we support all of our products. You can call us on our phone number. We actually have a US phone number. You will talk to a person here in the head office. If you're unlucky, you may actually get me sometimes. The phone number is 512-479-0317. You can find it on our website. You can also just email success@poetexas.com. If you forget all of that, there are contact links all over the webpage. And still, if you forget all that, you can reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Reddit. We answer questions. We monitor our channels very carefully, so you'll get an answer within, like I said, 1 to 2 hours.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Next question here for you. Does PoE Texas have any compatibility issues with other brands such as Ubiquiti?
Great question. So the general answer is we work very hard to make sure our products are as universally compatible as possible. That's something we take a lot of pride in. Now, having said that, I will tell you, we do occasionally find little secrets in the way a lot of other some of the other companies do networking and technology that make it a little bit more complicated for us. We work very hard at that. For example, we found out that Ubiquiti uses kind of a different way of wiring up their devices for their PoE, so we work very hard to publish that information to say, okay, you might find this this conflict or this compatibility issue. This is how to solve it. We take all those very seriously. We recently discovered an interesting setting in the Cisco enterprise switches that you need to set in order to be able to work with our PoE Plus devices like our PoE to USB-C adapters. So I won't claim that we get it right 100% of the time, but that is what we're focused on because we want to be a universally compatible product and work with everybody.
Tyler, thank you so much for answering all of those questions for us today. And thank you to everyone for attending today's webinar. And if anyone has any further questions, please feel free to contact your sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of these products mentioned or shown here today, please visit us at www.microcom.us. And please remember, this webinar presentation has been recorded and will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel so you can view it again. Tyler, thank you so much for spending time and all of this valuable information with us today. And until next time, everybody have a fantastic day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye now.